The subjugation. The Vraxian Dominion arrived in Earth's orbit on a Tuesday morning. Their ships, massive hexagonal structures of gleaming blue-black metal, appeared without warning, materializing through what scientists would later learn were artificial wormholes. 14 vessels, each the size of Manhattan, positioned themselves strategically around the planet. Humanity's collective breath caught in its throat. "This is High Executor Zella of the Vraxian Dominion," came the broadcast in perfect English, simultaneously transmitted on every communication device across the globe. "Your species has been evaluated and deemed suitable for incorporation. Resistance is mathematically futile. We will begin installation of governance nodes in 24 of your hours." Commander Elena Rice watched the broadcast from the bridge of the U.S. Intrepid, Earth's newest aircraft carrier. At 42, she'd spent her career preparing for threats. "But nothing like this." "Orders, ma'am," her XO asked, his voice steady despite the pallor of his face. Elena's jaw tightened. "Alert all vessels in the fleet. Defensive posture, but no aggressive moves. Let's see what the diplomats can do." The diplomats accomplished nothing. When the 24 hours elapsed, the Vraxians didn't wait for Earth's answer. Their ships deployed thousands of smaller craft, each carrying what they called governance nodes, crystalline structures that burrowed into the ground at key locations around the planet. The United Earth Defense Council, hastily assembled from military leaders of major nations, ordered a coordinated strike. Fighter jets, missiles, even experimental energy weapons. Humanity threw everything at the invaders. Nothing worked. The Vraxian vessels absorbed or deflected every attack. Their smaller craft moved with impossible precision, as if sharing a single consciousness. They're networked, Elena realized, watching the tactical display. Every ship moves in perfect coordination. 3 hours after humanity's unified resistance began, the Vraxians demonstrated their power. A beam of concentrated energy lanced down from the largest ship, striking the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. The resulting tidal wave devastated coastal cities across 2 continents. 12 million dead in a single strike. Earth surrendered unconditionally. 6 months into the occupation, Elena stood at the window of what had once been the Pentagon, but was now designated as Human Administrative Center 1. Outside, a Vraxian patrol craft glided silently past, its hexagonal form casting an angular shadow across the grounds. "They want to see you, Commander," said Major James Wong, her most trusted lieutenant since the integration of Earth's military forces under Vraxian control. "I assumed they would," Elena replied, straightening her uniform. "Did they say why?" Wong shook his head. "Technical consultation. That's all I know." The Vraxians had quickly categorized humans based on their utility. Scientists, engineers, and military strategists were high-value resources, given preferential treatment, and put to work understanding Earth's infrastructure. Everyone else was assigned labor roles or left to continue in limited versions of their previous occupations. The Vraxian liaison officer, a being that resembled a 7-foot-tall praying mantis with iridescent purple exoskeleton, waited in what had once been the Joint Chiefs Conference Room. Its name, unpronounceable to human tongues, had been abbreviated to Liaison Tix. "Commander Reyes," it chittered, mandibles clicking. "Your expertise is required for optimizing your species' naval vessels for resource extraction." Elena maintained her neutral expression. "Of course, Liaison. How may I assist?" "Your primitive vessels are inefficient, but adequately designed for your technological level," Tix continued, manipulating a holographic display. "We require adaptation of 53 units for deep-sea mineral harvesting." For the next 2 hours, Elena provided technical specifications and suggestions, absorbing everything the Vraxian inadvertently revealed about their own technology. Every interaction was an intelligence-gathering opportunity. The Vraxians were methodical to a fault. They believed their technological superiority was absolute, and in most ways, they were right. Their ships could manipulate gravity, create wormholes for instantaneous travel, and deploy weapons that altered the fundamental forces of physics. But Alina had noticed something. Major Wong, she said later that night, in her quarters that she knew were not surveilled. The Vraxians considered human encryption too primitive to bother monitoring. Have you noticed how the Vraxians communicate with their vessels? Wong nodded. The neural interfaces in their exoskeletons. Direct thought-to-system connection. Yes, but it's more than that. They never operate independently. Every decision, every action is networked through their primary systems. Strength and unity, Wong suggested. Alina shook her head. Or a critical weakness. They've never faced an adversary who could disrupt their network. They've never needed contingency planning. That night, Operation Silent Thunder was born. The old missile silo in Montana had been deemed technologically irrelevant by the Vraxians and largely ignored after an initial inspection. The perfect place for humanity's last hope. Dr. Aisha Patel, formerly of DRBA, stood before the assembled team. 28 of Earth's most brilliant minds smuggled to the facility over 3 months. The Vraxian neural network operates on principles we've only theorized, she explained, displaying a holographic model. It's a quantum entanglement system with biological interfaces. Their ships, their weapons, even their individual soldiers, all connected in real time across vast distances, which makes them unbeatable in conventional warfare, Alina added, stepping forward, but potentially vulnerable to something they've never encountered, a communications blackout. Dr. Patel nodded. We've analyzed the data Commander Reyes has gathered. The Vraxians have never developed countermeasures against network disruption because they've never needed to. Their technological superiority has been absolute in every previous conquest. Until now, Alina said, her voice hardening, because they've never encountered humans before. For 8 months, they worked in secret. The Vraxians, confident in their dominance, allowed humans to continue some manufacturing under supervision. Components were requisitioned through official channels, others fabricated in secret, all gradually assembled in the missile silo's cavernous main chamber. What took shape wasn't a traditional warship. The vessel they built, named Thunderclap, was small by military standards, barely 100 meters long. Its hull utilized a composite material that absorbed rather than reflected energy, making it nearly invisible to Vraxian sensors. But its heart was Dr. Patel's masterpiece, the Quantum Disruption Array. The QDA generates a field that temporarily severs quantum entanglement links, Dr. Patel explained during the final briefing. In theory, it will isolate any Vraxian vessel caught within its radius, cutting it off from the network. In theory, repeated Chief Engineer Marcus Okafor skeptically. We can't exactly test it. No, Alina agreed. Our first test will be our only test. The plan was desperate, born of necessity rather than confidence. Thunderclap would approach the Vraxian command vessel in high orbit, using its stealth capabilities to avoid detection. Once in range, it would activate the QDA, isolating the command ship from the network. In the confusion, they would board the vessel, access its systems, and broadcast a shutdown command to the entire Vraxian fleet. If it failed, humanity would lose its last, best minds, and likely face even harsher subjugation. Alina studied the faces around her. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, all volunteers, all aware of the astronomical odds against success. The Vraxians believe they've accounted for every variable, she told them. But they've made a fundamental error. They've calculated our technological capabilities, our military strength, our resources, but they've failed to quantify human ingenuity, human determination, and human defiance. She placed her hand on Thunderclap's dark hull. Tomorrow, we remind them of their mistake. As dawn broke over the Montana mountains, the silo doors opened for the first time in decades. Thunderclap rose silently on its anti-gravity drive, reversed engineered from salvaged Vraxian technology, and descended toward the stars. Operation Silent Thunder had begun. Humanity's future hung in the balance. The reckoning. Thunderclap climbed through Earth's atmosphere, its revolutionary propulsion system leaving no heat signature for Vraxian sensors to detect. Elena sat in the command chair, surrounded by a crew of 11. The absolute minimum needed to operate the vessel and complete the mission. Passing 100 kilometers, reported Lieutenant Kira Yoshida, their navigation specialist. Stealth systems functioning at optimal levels. No indication of detection. Elena nodded, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Above them, represented by pulsing blue hexagons, the 14 Vraxian capital ships maintained their precise orbital positions. Their target was the largest, High Executor Zealous command vessel, currently positioned above what had once been international waters in the Pacific. Time to intercept, Elena asked. 17 minutes at current velocity, Kira replied. We could increase speed, but... No, Elena interrupted. Stealth is our only advantage. We maintain current velocity. Dr. Patel monitored the quantum disruption array from her station. QDA is stable, Commander. Power systems nominal. And our intelligence package? Elena asked, turning to Major Wong. Ready, he confirmed. If we can access a terminal on their command deck, I can upload the package in under 30 seconds. The intelligence package was a sophisticated virus designed to spread through the Vraxian network once their ships re-established connection. It wouldn't destroy their systems. They lacked the understanding of Vraxian code for that. But it would temporarily paralyze their weapons and propulsion, giving Earth precious time to negotiate from a position of strength. Thunderclap slipped past the outer perimeter of Vraxian sentinel drones. Inside the ship, no one spoke. The only sounds were the soft hum of equipment and the controlled breathing of a crew carrying the weight of humanity's future. 5 minutes to optimal QDA range, Kira announced. Elena felt her heart hammering against her ribs. This was the moment humanity had been building toward for 14 months, their one shot at reclaiming their freedom, their dignity, their planet. Commander, came the sudden alert from their sensor officer. We're being scanned. The tactical display showed an energy pattern washing over their ship, a standard Vraxian security sweep. Have they detected us? Elena's voice remained calm despite the surge of adrenaline. Negative. Our absorption hull is functioning as designed. The scan passed over us, but they're initiating a second, more focused scan. Elena made a split-second decision. Accelerate to attack speed. They're suspicious. We've lost the element of surprise, but not stealth. We can still get close enough. Thunderclap surged forward, cutting through space at a velocity that pushed the structural integrity of the experimental vessel to its limits. Vraxian chatter increasing, reported the communications officer. They suspect something but haven't localized us. 2 minutes to optimal range, Kira called out. Prepare for QDA activation on my mark, Elena ordered. All personnel, secure for possible countermeasures. The massive Vraxian command ship grew larger on their view screen, an imposing structure of geometric precision, bristling with weapons capable of leveling cities. 1 minute to range. Elena took a deep breath. Major Wong, prepare boarding party. Wong and 3 others moved to the airlock, checking their equipment. They carried no conventional weapons, useless against Vraxian technology, but instead specialized tools designed to interface with and override Vraxian systems. 30 seconds. Elena felt time slow, each heartbeat stretching. Everything, the sacrifices, the planning, Earth's future, converged on this moment. We are in optimal range, Kira announced. Elena leaned forward. Activate QDA. Dr. Paddle engaged the system. For a brief moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, the view screen showed a ripple of energy, invisible to normal sensors, expanding outward from Thunderclap like a silent tsunami. The effect on the Vraxian command ship was immediate. Its external lights flickered and sections went dark. The perfect geometric formation of its escort vessels suddenly broke as they lost connection with their flagship. QDA functioning at 97% efficiency, Dr. Paddle reported, her voice tight with controlled excitement. Quantum entanglement networks within the target zone are destabilizing. Sensors indicate the command vessel's defensive systems are offline, added the tactical officer. Their secondary systems are activating, but they're isolated, operating on independent protocols. Elena stood. This is our window. Major Wong, execute boarding operation. Thunderclap maneuvered to the command vessel's primary docking quadrant, attaching like a remora to a shark. Wong's team deployed, using a molecular disruptor to create an opening through the Vraxian hull material. We're in, Wong's voice came through the comm. Minimal resistance. The Vraxians appeared disoriented without their network. For the first time, Elena allowed herself a glimmer of hope. On the tactical display, the Vraxian fleet had fallen into disarray, ships moving independently, some drifting out of formation, others firing thrusters in seemingly random patterns. Approaching the command center, Wong reported. Encountering Vraxian security drones, but their coordination is compromised. We're proceeding. The minutes crawled by, each one critical. The QDA couldn't maintain its field indefinitely. Its power consumption was enormous, and once it failed, the Vraxian network would reestablish. We've reached a terminal, came Wong's voice, strained from exertion. Dr. Chen is connecting the interface. Stand by. Elena watched the power levels of the QDA dropping steadily. How much longer, Major? Interface established. Uploading virus package now. 20 seconds to completion. The tactical officer suddenly called out. Commander, 2 Vraxian vessels are moving toward our position. They appear to be operating on backup protocols. Time to viral upload completion. Elena demanded. 10 seconds, Wong replied. QDA power at critical levels, Dr. Patel warned. Field collapse imminent. 5 seconds, Wong counted down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Upload complete. At that moment, the QDA field collapsed. Thunderclat's lights dimmed as power systems struggled to compensate for the massive energy drain. All personnel return to Thunderclap immediately, Elena ordered. Prepare for emergency departure. The tactical display showed the Vraxian network reestablishing. Ships began to return to formation, their movements once again synchronized. Did it work? Elena asked the communications officer. Is the virus deploying? Difficult to tell, came the response. Vraxian communications are, wait. Their network is experiencing cascade failures across all channels. The virus is propagating. Wong and his team returned, breathless but triumphant. Sealed the breach behind us. The Vraxians on the command deck were completely disoriented. They've never operated without their network. Disengage docking clamps, Elena ordered. Get us clear of the command vessel. Thunderclap pulled away, its stealth systems once again active, though numerous system warnings flashed across control panels. The experimental vessel had been pushed to its limits. On the main view screen, the Vraxian fleet was in visible distress. Ships drifted at odd angles, weapons systems powered down, communications silent. It worked, Dr. Patel whispered, staring at the sensor readings. The virus is temporarily paralyzing their command functions without destroying life support or structural integrity, just as we designed. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Open a channel to Earth. Priority message to all resistance cells and remaining military command. The communications officer worked his console. Channel open, Commander. Elena straightened in her chair. This is Commander Elena Reyes aboard the U.S. Thunderclap. Operation Silent Thunder has succeeded. All Earth Defense Forces initiate Operation Uprising according to established protocols. The Vraxian fleet is temporarily incapacitated. We have approximately 6 hours before their systems purge our virus. She paused, looking at the faces of her crew, exhausted, determined, proud. Today, humanity fights back. High Executor Zella's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation in Vraxian physiology. The command center of the flagship had been restored to partial functionality, but the damage to the Dominion's operations was catastrophic. Impossible, Zella chittered to the assembled sub-commanders. Primitives cannot disrupt quantum entanglement networks. The technological gap is insurmountable. Nevertheless, Sub-Commander Vrex responded, "They have done so. Our fleet is compromised. Ground installations are reporting human uprisings at 17 key resource extraction centers. We have lost control of 62% of our governance nodes." Zella's exoskeleton flushed dark purple, the Vraxian equivalent of fury. "How long until full systems restoration?" "4 of your Earth hours, at minimum," replied the technical specialist. "The human virus is elegant. It does not destroy, it merely impedes. Our systems cannot identify it as a direct threat, making automated removal impossible. And the human vessel that initiated this attack, undetectable to our standard sensors. Its design principles are unorthodox." A communication alert sounded, different from the standard Dominion frequencies. "The humans are broadcasting on all channels," Vrex reported. "They request direct communication with you, High Executor." Zella's compound eyes narrowed. Display transmission. The holographic projector activated, showing a human female in a military uniform. Behind her stood representatives from various Earth nations and military branches. "High Executor Zella," the human began. "I am Admiral Elena Reyes, newly appointed commander of United Earth Defense Forces. As you've discovered, we now possess the ability to neutralize your technological advantages. Every Vraxian ship and installation in our solar system is currently vulnerable." Zella's mandibles clicked softly. "Admiral Reyes, your demonstration is noted. What do you seek? Surely you understand that the Dominion spans galaxies. This temporary setback will be answered with overwhelming force." The human's expression remained impassive. "We're transmitting terms for your immediate withdrawal from Earth and its orbital space. In exchange, we will provide you with a countermeasure to our virus, allowing your fleet to depart safely. And if we refuse, then we will not provide the countermeasure, and we will deploy our quantum disruption technology against every Vraxian vessel and installation until none remain operational. Your choice, High Executor." Zella studied the human, recognizing something the Dominion's preliminary assessment had failed to identify: an implacable resolve unlike any species they had previously subjugated. "The Vraxian Dominion does not negotiate with lesser species," Zella stated, following protocol. "Then the Vraxian Dominion has never encountered humans before," Elena replied evenly. "We're not seeking war, High Executor. We're seeking recognition of our sovereignty and our right to determine our own future. The terms we offer include provisions for peaceful contact and fair trade. We have much to learn from each other, but as equals, not as conquerors and subjugated." For the first time in 1,000 years of service to the Dominion, High Executor Zella faced a decision without network consensus. The correct choice, by all Vraxian doctrine, was to refuse, to maintain dominance regardless of cost. But something in the human's unwavering gaze gave Zella pause. This species had accomplished the impossible. They had identified a fundamental weakness in Vraxian technology that no other civilization had discovered in millennia of Dominion expansion. What else might they be capable of? "Transmit your terms in full," Zella finally responded. "The Dominion will consider them." 3 days later, the Vraxian fleet departed Earth orbit, leaving behind only a small diplomatic vessel at humanity's invitation. The withdrawal was recorded in Dominion archives as a strategic redeployment pending comprehensive species assessment. In reality, it was the first time the Vraxian Dominion had been forced to recognize a lesser species as an equal. 6 months later, Elena stood at the observation deck of the newly constructed Unity station in Earth orbit. Beside her stood representatives from the Vraxian diplomatic corps and 3 other galactic civilizations who had requested formal relations with Earth following the Thunderclap incident, as it was now known throughout the galaxy. They underestimated us, said UN Secretary General Okafor, watching a Vraxian diplomatic shuttle dock with the station. They assumed technological superiority was the only measure of a civilization's capability. Elena nodded, her gaze fixed on the stars beyond. A common mistake. They forgot that adversity breeds innovation, and that humans have faced adversity since we first looked up at the night sky and wondered what waited for us out there. The Secretary General smiled. And now we know. No, Elena replied, turning to face Earth's new place among the stars. Now we're just beginning to find out.